Hi, I'm Jamie from Sci-Fi-vision. Thanks for talking to me. I appreciate it. I've
Hi, Jamie.
enjoyed the show. I love home reno shows.
Thank you. Thank you.
To start out, obviously, I know why you got into renovating, but how can you talk about how it became a television show? Like, how did that conversation, I guess, go?
Yeah, it was always a passion for me. Something I always wanted to do, and I think when I talked to my team about it, I was like, why not showcase this amazing town? We had the perfect setting for it. Uh, I got all the great people for it that'll make fun TV and people that I love and people that I care about, and let's showcase me in a different light. Me doing what I want my career to be going forward, and this is kind of where I want to see my life go is down this route. So it was just kind of like, how do we collide my passion and TV together, and we got this show.
And you said see that side of you. I was going to ask, did you sort of, as you did it, think about like you wanted people to see something different, I guess, than they saw on The Bachelorette?
Yeah, I mean, on The Bachelorette, you just see me talking to a girl and flirting and dating and all that stuff and having fun. I think this side, you still see a lot of fun, but you also see a professional side, a more serious side, and also a more heartfelt side. So I think this show shows a totally different, you know, way of looking at me and where I come from.
Was there anything though, just the fact that it's still reality TV, was there anything that you kind of learned there that helped you on this show that you knew how
Yeah,
it would be, I guess?
I mean, I've learned so many lessons through TV and in the past, and you know, reality TV, you got to work hard. When you're on these sets and you're doing these things, it's a lot of work, and I think that translates over to everything I do now. Is it requires a lot of work, and it requires a team, and it requires teamwork, and you got to be able to work with production to figure out what's going on and scheduling and planning and all that. So it really makes you focus and hone in on teamwork.
What's the hardest part from the television perspective?
Well, I think like when you talk about a home runner show, you have a construction team, you have a design team, and you have a production team. So you got to try and marry all three of those together, and it can be a lot. The design team doesn't agree with the construction team, or the production team wants to shoot this, but we got to be over here for this. It can be a lot. But I think once we found our groove, we got into such a great groove, and we all got together, and really by the end of the show we were like all like kind of teary eyed, like leaving each other because we kind of built a little family between production, design, and construction.
Do you, I know TV is not always 100% reality. I'm just curious, do you do a lot of the construction? I mean, I know they show it obviously on television, but do you do outside of what they show a lot of the construction yourself, or is that more something you give to the trades and
A little bit of both. There's certain things that I will take on and do. There's a lot that does go to the trades. Like I'm not moving electrical, plumbing. I'm not playing with any of that stuff. And that's just for my own homeowner's sake. But when it comes to trim work, wood, I like to get involved with all that carpentry stuff. That's more my speed. But I definitely like to have like my good carpenters around because sometimes I slow them down and whatnot. But I do love getting in the mix.
like I say, there's probably a lot of people though we don't see that you can't get a house done that fast with three people.
It,
So
it takes an army.
yeah. I know Jessica said that you've learned about design from her from listening, but is there anything just from this whole experience that you've like what have you learned or how has it changed you since you started it until now?
Yeah, I mean, running a organization with a lot of people underneath you and trying to plan and trying to organize all these people, but also manage their relationships and keeping people happy. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. So I think that was one of my biggest takeaways. And then I really kind of did learn a lot in design through this show, and now I like to try and test my eye and see how I do compared to other designers and whatnot. And I'm doing my own home. I'm being my own guinea pig before I go anywhere else with it. But it's been fun.
Is it hard to have to, I mean, I'm sure it is, but I just was thinking about how sometimes you have to say like this what messed up, this is going to cost more money. Is that like a hard part of it, or is that just something that everybody expects that things are going to go wrong and they may have to
No,
change their ideas?
you never want to have that conversation. You hope you don't. It's never easy to ask like, oh, this is going to cost you another 2,000. No one wants to hear that. So we hope that never happens, and it usually does happen. But we try to avoid those by all means.
What's something that people that watch home reno shows would be surprised to find out that you haven't talked about that maybe is just something you don't really think about?
I just don't think people realize the work that goes into it and the how much it takes to, when you're renovating a home and you watch it on TV, you just see it kind of, and within 40 minutes go from this to that.
Yeah.
And that really takes about 4 to 5 months. Some projects took, it's what it took. And it's we always, the production will be like, well, what's happening? Like, well, it takes what it takes, and sometimes you got to sometimes people don't show up, like finding good workers is hard too, and so there's a lot that goes into these design shows and these construction shows than a lot of what people would think.
Did you know who to begin with, like from the very beginning, who you wanted to help you? Because I know it seems like you have people that you knew obviously from growing up there and everything.
So I was lucky. I had people that I knew, and then also my dad had a lot of subs from his experience in building. So I was able to kind of steal a lot of his guys, and I'm still stealing them today.
Do you enjoy more doing a small project or something like your aunt and uncle's house that's got a lot more involved with it?
So it's funny, like design wise, I've learned like when you do these smaller spaces, you can make a lot happen and change a lot. But when you're in these big giant spaces, these tall, it's hard to really feel that big change when you walk in, But when you come into like you see Theo and Ashley's house, episode one, these are like small spaces that we can make a lot of things happen in there, and it causes big change. But when you get in these bigger, larger rooms, it's really hard to really push a design forward. But I think we were able to accomplish it with Michelle and Howie's. I think their house came out great, and it's a house they love, and that's at the end of the day, we got to deliver a house that these clients are going to love being in.
Now, the one thing, this is just a silly question, but I wanted to ask you, what would you have done if your aunt and uncle decided to leave that painting or that picture up rather? And they like invited people. Would that have bothered you, or is that just something you don't care?
I wouldn't care. I wouldn't
You
care.
wouldn't care.
It would be a little weird for sure, but it's at my house now.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I think it would have been funny if they punked you and said they were going to keep it there.
Yeah, right.
What's been do you have like a favorite of all the houses you've done on this show?
I
Which
would
one?
definitely say my mom's house is definitely, means the
Yeah.
most and is definitely a favorite. The short term rental I did with Jason is a really cool, fun house. I love the pool and the mural that we did in the back. Brent Boyd's house, his bedroom, I think is like the sexiest bedroom I've ever been in. And the way the bathroom, bedroom, all that flows together, it's beautiful. I want my room to look like that a little bit, but yeah, it's an incredible house.
Okay. Well, we're out of time, but thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank
Like
you
I
so
said, I
much. I
enjoyed it.
appreciate
So
you.
thanks a lot. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, you too.